Hello and welcome, my name is betarho, and this is the first episode of Introducing the Gods. This series will be an overview of all playable gods in SMITE. We will look at available lore, stat setups, the gods' abilities, and finally items and strategy suggestions. Our first episode looks at Sobek, god of the Nile. He's from the Egyptian pantheon, and at the time of recording, there has not been any lore published for him. When lore becomes available, it will be included in the description of this video. Hi-rez has tagged Sobek as a melee tank, and his stats back that up. At 490 HP off the start, he has one of the largest health pools in the game. And while he isn't in Amir's ballpark, 81 HP added per level will keep you strong. Sobek's melee characteristics are seen in the fact that he starts with 38 physical power and gains 2 per level, while he starts with no magic power and gains none on subsequent levels. This will be something to keep in mind once we look at Sobek's abilities. As far as protection, Sobek starts with more magical than physical protection, at 30 to 19, but gains 3 physical protection to every 1 magical protection upon leveling up. Sobek's passive ability is Armor of the Nile, which grants 10 physical and magical protection on each hit against an enemy. This buff lasts for 4 seconds and can be stacked 3 times. Keep this passive in mind next time you neglect to use Sobek's auto attack in a fight. Sobek's first ability is Charge Prey, which can be used both offensively and defensively. When used, Sobek charges forward quickly, but does not damage minions. However, if Sobek hits an enemy god in his path, he stuns them, does damage, and throws them over his back. This is extremely useful against an overextended enemy, who you can throw into your tower's range, or in a team fight, tossing them behind you to your teammates. But if you're just looking to get away from attack, this ability can come in handy as well. It costs 70 base mana, increasing by 10 each time you level the ability. Damage-wise, it does a base damage of 70, plus 50% of your magical power. The base damage increases by 40 upon leveling this ability. Your second ability is Tail Whip, which is a damaging crowd control attack. It damages and knocks back any enemy that is within the attack circle at the time of casting. When paired with Charge Prey, an enemy god that you've thrown behind you can be knocked even further away from safety. Like Charge Prey, it costs 70 base mana, increasing 10 each level, and it does 90 damage, plus 50% of your magical power, gaining 50 base damage per level. Sobek's third ability is Sickening Strike, an attack that damages enemies while healing you. This heal can help you out of tough situations, so remember that this ability has that power. Like other attacks, it costs 70 mana, increasing by 10. For damage, it does 60 base, plus 30% of your magical power, adding 40 base damage per level. In terms of healing, it adds 20 HP base, plus 10% of your magical power, adding an additional 10 HP per level of attack. This heal is per enemy you hit, meaning that at high levels, striking multiple minions can be a big buff. Finally, we have Sobek's ultimate ability, Lurking in the Waters. This is another ability with both offensive and defensive uses. During the attack, Sobek dives under the map for 4 seconds. While in this period, he regens mana, takes 75% damage, and any enemy in the pool is slowed. After the 4 seconds, Sobek jumps out of the water, doing 350 base damage, plus 80% of your magical power. The attack adds 150 damage to the base damage per level. Because the ability slows enemies, negates any crowd control, and provides a defensive buff, this ult can be used to avoid attacks. With an overview of Sobek's abilities, we begin to see what sort of character he is. He's tanky, but not among the game's tankiest. He's powerful, but that power doesn't directly benefit his abilities. He's quick, but he's not the quickest. While this may not initially seem good, it's actually very beneficial when you think of items and abilities. Because most experienced SMITE players will not need to follow guides like this section of these videos will be geared towards new players. If you're new to Sobek, I would focus on his physical side, while also buffing his magical power. All of my Sobek kits start with reinforced boots, which provide speed and defense. A personal favorite for his physical stats is the Frostbound Hammer, which will greatly increase your HP and your physical power, while also slowing any enemy you make contact with. And since both Charge Prey and Lurking in the Waters will have you close to enemies, this can be very beneficial. However, it would be foolish to neglect Sobek's strong magical abilities. If you can stay alive to maintain stacks, the Doom Orb can be invaluable, because when it's fully leveled in stacks, it provides you with 160 additional magic power. The Polynomicon is an item that adds magical power, steals life, and provides mana. Its passive is very powerful when used properly. When you use an ability, your next basic attack within 5 seconds adds 100% of your magical power towards the damage. These are 4 items that work well in many different builds and allow you to tailor your Sobek to your needs in the fight. Abilities are largely dependent on your game. If you are against enemies with prolonged abilities, like Guan Yu or Anubis' ultimates, an Aegis Amulet may be needed. If your lane opponents are fast, and you don't think you'll be able to keep a charged prey handy for a quick escape, Sprint or Heavenly Agility are a must. But again, abilities are largely dependent on your game's situation. I hope this guide helps you out in understanding the God of the Nile better, and how to best utilize his attributes. Feel free to click on the Pantheons right now to be brought to a page with that Pantheon's characters. Being the first video in this series, there's not currently any other true guides posted, though I have linked to gameplays for a few of the gods that have already been posted on my channel. The Pantheon videos will be constantly updated as new guides come out, so check back in the future. Thanks for watching, and feel free to leave a like if you think this is a series worth continuing.